Hey, speakers, we're going to go ahead and get into it. So go ahead and like and subscribe, and let's get started. Hey, my speaker fam, how's everyone doing this evening? Happy Mother's Day to all of my mothers. Hopefully, everyone is able to enjoy their day, relaxing, doing anything that would bring you peace, joy, and happiness. And of course, not gonna hold you, not gonna be too long. You see on the thumbnail, we'll be doing a review and recap of Love and Marriage Huntsville. And before we go ahead and jump into it, please everyone go ahead and like the video. That does help me flow through the algorithm to kind of keep me active out here on these YouTube streets. Subscribe to the channel if you have not already. Become a part of the family, and of course, turn on those notification bells so you'll always be notified whenever another video is uploaded. Now, of course, y'all, we are on episode 6. This episode was called Being Lady Like. So we're gonna go ahead and get into it. I didn't do all the extra clips that I normally do. Because for some strange reason, the recaps don't get that much attention as I would like it, to get. So I'm not gonna do all the extra. Plus, I was kind of crunched for time. I have 2 other videos, actually 3 other videos that I need to do after this because I got some hot tea that came across my desk that I want to go over. Plus, I wanted to kind of do a recap on the Carlos King and Martell interview as well as our HOA. So we're gonna go ahead and get into this. Of course, I have been out of town, so I really kind of trying to catch up on the shows. So scene 1, we did see where Mel go to visit Tiffany. And of course, Mel mentioned the spa day. She said that it was so much going on when she started hearing the B word and the F bomb and all of that. She said it was time for her to go. She trying to protect her energy. She just had to get up out of there. But she is hoping that her upcoming event, which is, of course, we know is going to be the tea party, hopefully that'll kind of bring everybody, together. She said the event is mainly highlighting being respectful, getting your point across, say how you feel, but being respectful, all at the same time. So, of course, she tells Tiffany that, of course, that she is invited to the tea party. Tiffany then said that she left the spa day feeling like her blood pressure was high when she left. She said, my blood pressure was high and boiling, when I left there. And I can definitely understand why your blood pressure would be boiling because you kind of stepped on some toes. Kiki's toes, we know for a fact. Now, everyone is kind of centering around, okay, of course, she's pregnant. She needs to protect, she needs to be in a more peaceful space because nobody want her to go in early labor. We all understand that. But my point of everything is you were pregnant when you started it. So just keep that in mind. You can't poke the bear and then go back up like a crawfish and everybody use the excuse you pregnant. You were pregnant when you started it. So okay. You can't tell nobody how to react when you start something. So, anyways, Mel then says before the party, she goes on and Mel tells Tiffany about, the girl's birthday party. She said that she even allowed Mariah to call her dad before the party just so he could tell her happy birthday and everything. And Martell kind of mentioned then yet again, so why am I not invited? You invited everybody else. And I'm assuming he's speaking in reference to Tisha, because we also heard where he told or asked Marcel, like, she claimed that they not even friends no more, and she invited them. Well, first of all, true and all that they're not in the best place, but I do think that is very adult of her because, as we all know, the children were friends already prior to. So her allowing her feelings toward Tisha interfere with what the girls have going on with Tisha's kids, that would be kind of childish. So of course she would invite them. And I'm glad that she did. That shows, and you have to be a bigger person to look at it that way. But either way it go, you wasn't invited. So again, that is another way that we know you were not invited, as much as you want to constantly say you were invited, because we'll review and recap again from the interview he did with Carlos King immediately after, and he's still insisting that he was invited. But anyways, Mel said that after all he had done at the party, they called him after the party and, asked, okay, you coming? And we heard the recording um, on my previous video that basically he told her, he was like, no, he's not gonna come. He's just gonna wait until that Monday. And we all knew, and because the same day, coincidentally, you end up in Atlanta. So all along, you had to have plans that you were going to Atlanta. You knew you were going to Atlanta. So why were you making a big fuss about spending the day with your child when you knew all along you had plans to be somewhere else? So Mel said that she wished she would have had kids with a man and not a queen. And Tiffany was like, "Ooh," which I totally get it. I totally get it. I guess it's so much bickering and back and forth. It make her feel like she bickering and battering and going back and forth with a female. Instead of a grown man, it seems as though she battling almost with a female, because the things you tend to do be things that real men really would not do. But anyways, going on to the second scene, we see where Kimmy and Maurice is at home. Pretty much, Kimmy is in the kitchen. She stated that she was making pasta. She asked Maurice, had he gotten everything straightened out with Monster. And pretty much, he goes on to say that, he's talking to him, he's speaking with him. And he said that he feels that Kimmy don't enforce the rules with Monster. So I'm assuming, she might tell him, clean your room. She come back 4 hours later, room still ain't clean, and she tends to kind of back up. Now, in her defense, as a bonus mom, stepmom, or however you want to consider it, it depends on the relationship that you have with the child, as to how you would handle it after something. I mean, to me, first of all, I'm not going to have no child in my home that if I ask you to do something, you totally disregard what I say, because that's just a form of disrespect, period. And step mom, bonus mom, however, we not doing that. If that's something that I would not allow my child to do, I'm definitely not going to let anyone else's. But I, again, understand where she's taking. It's only so far she can go as a bonus parent, because you don't want to overstep your boundaries. You don't want to be the big bad wolf. So what she is saying is, she feel like Maurice don't have her back when it come to Monster. So if she tells him to clean the room, she go back 4 hours later, the room still looking the way it was looking prior to her telling him that. I'm assuming that Kimmy expect for Maurice to be like, well, didn't Kimmy tell you to clean the room? You need to go ahead and clean the room. Whereas he probably, shun it off. Not that it's not important to Maurice, but you even hear him say that pretty much he's trying to figure it out as far as the right disciplinary action with Monster himself. He's trying to see what is the correct way to go about doing it, because these days I'm not gonna hold you, I'm not gonna lie. All of my kids are grown now, which I have a 19-year-old, but I remember, I will never forget my 19-year-old when she was in high school. I call myself punishing her, taking the phone, because, nowadays you take a phone or a PlayStation and Lord, they feel like somebody done took their lifeline. So this particular time, she was like, oh, okay. Like, you took my phone. Oh, okay. I later learned it was okay, because she had, now, of course, she had her own iPad and laptop and phone, but I took those things. Oh, it didn't matter, because she had her iPad from school. which gave her internet access so where she could log in. Now, whether or not she was supposed to, clearly she was, because she wasn't phased by it. That's not something I can take away from her, because that's school property. She need this to do her home. Saying that, all that to say, punishing kids these days got levels to it. It's levels to the punishment. So I can understand what he's saying, is because me being one of these people, I don't just really believe in all that whooping the kids. Now you get smart, you might get popped in the mouth, you know. But at the same time, I feel as though taking away that extracurricular is way more effective than all that hit you, because I know people that literally what I would consider be beat these days, and life still just didn't turn out well for you, and your mom and them was the strictest, beat you and all of that, and look where you at now, still, you know. But anyways, so I definitely understand, and clearly Kyle was on the phone with Maurice when him and Kimmy was having this conversation, and pretty much Kyle will agree with Kimmy, like, you need to step up and back her with this, because how are y'all gonna ever be on the same accord? Because eventually it's gonna become a time when he's gonna play one against the other, clearly. And it seems as though that may be where the direction he is headed. But anyways, going on to the next scene, we see where Stormy is meeting up with Kiki. Now they are meeting up to do Reiki and to get rid of, I guess, the bad energy. Now Kiki asks the actual coach, what does this kind of have to do with being a child of God? Because she said in her confessional she don't think that this was something that her pastor would agree to. So she wanted to know, am I crossing any type of lines? And y'all, just a little side note, I am one of those people as well. Now, I grew up in a Baptist church. I grew up where all the way until I was an adult, I wasn't able to, I'm not going to say wasn't able to, but my grandmother, my mom, of course, passed when I was 6. My dad raised me, and then I lived with my grandmother. But anyways, we were Baptists. So my grandmother was the type, it was my great grandmother. She had been in her church for over, I think when my grandmother passed, she lived till she was 96. She had been in her church for over 80 years. And that was still our family church. And how dare you ask to go to another church? How dare you get grown and go join another church? That's what I'm dealing with. So, saying that to say, I grew up Baptist. I did as I got an adult, because to me, I feel like I shouldn't leave church feeling the same way I was before I came. So, of course, I did venture out and go to like non denominational. That's what I prefer at this particular time. So, when it come to different things, and I think I was even on one of Bondi Blues lives one day, and she was talking about like the different burning of sage and all of that. And I've always been kind of hesitant to ask, because for one, I don't want to offend anyone. I don't want to seem ignorant when it comes to certain things. But I had even asked her, what is that? Is this because, okay, I'm from Louisiana. So when you get to talking about different things, we relate a lot of that to being voodoo. So I'm very, very careful when it comes to like the Reiki and doing all the different things, because Lord knows I don't want God to, yeah, I can't stop none of my blessings here, because I'm trying to be adventurous into something else. So I always try to either read up on it or try to ask questions about it. So I understand where Kiki was coming from, long story short. But anyways, so then they go on, they start the actual process, and um Stormy gets really emotional because the lady is kind of, going over her spiritual vibes and everything, and she's letting Stormy know that you have a very good heart. She's saying that Stormy is blocking a lot of things because, you know, I guess she's scared of different ties and ventures of and having bad energy come around her, and so basically she needs to let that go. Then she moved on to Kiki, and with Kiki, she actually told her, you have to be careful of the things that you say, that your words are very, very powerful. And they are. That I do know. Words are powerful. It isn't such thing as speaking things into existence, whether be good or whether bad. So then the lady actually leave them where they can go ahead and kind of, talk and discuss. And Kiki said that she feels like her and Stormy pretty much have like energies. They're a lot alike. And I kind of sense that. The Kiki can pop off real quick as well as Stormy. Definitely we know Stormy pops off. And she said that she wasn't satisfied with a lot of things, especially the situation with Tiffany. So pretty much her and Tiffany is feeling the same way about one another. And Stormy said that, she even told her husband that Tiffany shouldn't be arguing with Kiki because her baby could come out looking like Kiki. Stormy is, I think, on the cool. Stormy is, she is what she is, but I think she a little goofy because what? I mean, yeah, I done heard that before, but really, this is what you had to say. Out of everything you could have said, this is what you said, but okay. Anywho, they go on to the next scene where we see where Martell and Maurice actually meet up. Maurice pretty much shows Martell around, look as though he's doing some remodeling to his office. And I don't know if this is the law office, is this gonna be credit one? I don't know what Maurice is. That's still out for debate. But anyways, Martell said that basically, he's been doing good, living life. Everything is looking good. Credit looking good. Finances looking good. Maurice said, yeah, your credit was looking good the last time we checked. Keep that up. I'm going to stay up on you to make sure that you're doing all the right things. So then, of course, Martell goes on to tell Maurice about the birthday party. Everybody got to tell about the birthday party, honey. So Maurice said that, he feels as though they both need to find a better way of co-parenting, and do the best that you can, and what you can't do, let God handle it. And basically that's it, period, point blank. Do what you're supposed to do. And if you feel like something else needs to be done, give it to God, honey. Stop trying to do it on your own. Stop trying to force people to do what you want them to do, because the sooner you realize that things can't and ain't gonna always go your way, the better off you will be. I mean, period. And so then they go on, and Maurice is then saying, how he's trying to teach Monster responsibilities. And he basically needs to know, what motivate him. Pretty much he was saying the same thing I was just saying. He need to know what motivate him. That way he'll know the correct way of disciplining him, because we have to find something that actually they look forward to having, and not, and no one will be taken away if they don't do the proper things. Maurice also tells Martell the time about him having a dog named Peaches, and Peaches never would listen. So Peaches eventually got ran over in the street. And pretty much what he's saying is he don't want Monster to go out here in this real world and the world run him over because he don't listen and he don't know anything about responsibility. He said that, he need to learn responsibility, and I'd absolutely agree. Martell mentioned, he said at his age, 15 years old, he was like, I was bad. I was out here fighting. I was going to alternative school. He said that basically I had no structure. I had no guidance. So there you have it. Well, Miss Marlene, where you at? Did you know Martell said this? Did you watch this scene? I hope she's seen that, because she, she always kind of combated things, but then I turn around and say that she always worked. Now, nothing against a parent that always work, especially a single parent, because these day and age, for sure, uh, you got to do what you got to do, because it ain't easy. One income is hard with two, three incomes. So one, I can't even hold you and say that I could just say, but here we are now, what, 41 years later, he's 41 years old, and he's saying pretty much I had no structure. So by me not having structure, I started doing any and everything. He said basically he kind of steered his own self into getting into sports and ROTC and everything, so he could, I guess, be a little better. I ain't gonna get on Martell on this video, so we gonna move on, y'all. Anyways, we go to scene 5, which of course that is going to actually be the scene where we see where they're having the tea party. Now Carol is going to be the etiquette coach, and she is from out of Atlanta. Everyone is actually starting to arrive. Of course, Stormy and Miss Betty Steele, her scene ain't get cut out, but anywho, we see that they arrive last. Carol actually goes over and she does a demonstration, give the history on the actual tea, how it started, which I watched a digital clip of it as well. And basically, they're saying that this tea party thing actually originated from men. And she gave them the proper way of stirring it, pouring it, how you hold it, when to lift it up, when not to lift it up. It was very, very interesting. So, anywho, so then Stormy out of the middle of nowhere, she says, "Ooh, I cuss a lot." She said, "Ooh, but I curse a lot." And Miss Carolyn said, normally whenever anyone that curse pretty much like that is because they lack vocabulary. Now, I find some truth in it, and then I don't. I agree, but then I don't, because I am one of them ones that, now I ain't going around here cursing no elderly people out. I ain't doing that. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I ain't the type that. But if you take it there with me, yeah, you might hear some words you ain't never, ever heard before. And again, that's when you can hear my Louisiana accent a lot. That's when I get to talking fast. So 9 times out of 10, my vocabulary might be, unless I'm trying to read you and curse you out in this certain type of way. But if it ain't that certain type of way, read, and it's just what it is. Oh yeah, you might hear some words you ain't never heard before. So yeah, maybe I do lack vocabulary then, and I feel them in with all kinds of words. You got to know that yeah, how that go. But anyways, Stormy said, "No, I just like to curse," and that is, some people just, they like to curse. I mean, so then they'll step in and she says, "Well, can we just go ahead and get to the meat of what's going on here?" She said that the energy in here is bad. We can feel the tension. And Betty just, I guess she felt, I don't know if Nell was looking at her or however, but Nell was like, yeah, I guess it was Stormy's mom. You talking about, I'm Stormy's mama. And she said that something happened on social media, and Nell, you pretty much ain't got nothing to do with it. And I'm like, oh, okay. Wow. All righty then. So then Stormy steps in and says she is speaking, which will require you not to, because you may not know what's going on. So you and your mama is rude. You and your mama rude. Oh, okay, we get it. And basically, Carol jumped in and she told Stormy that was rude. She was talking, you just jump in and just get the saying whatever, and she said that is rude. And so at that time, Mel reminded Stormy of what she actually said on the previous reunion. And basically what she said, that she felt that Stormy was good for love and marriage Huntsville. She said those is not the words from of somebody that has a problem with somebody. So why would I have a problem? She said, I didn't realize that it was a problem. And Betty had went on social media and said some things about her. Betty said, Mel never defended Stormy when people were, pretty much insinuating that Stormy was the one with the leaked phone call. And Mel pretty much was like, people talk about me every day, all day. I don't go on there and defend, constantly defending my own self. So, I'm sorry and I apologize if you felt as though that's how I should have handled it. And then this is the magic scene that we all been waiting for, because I've been trying to figure out, like, okay, so what came after this? And clearly nothing, because she said, let me shut you down, and you shut up. And her direct issue with Mel is that how she do things. She said that people tried to diminish what her daughter has done. Stop, pause, take a moment of silence. I don't even know. Cause see, this is probably the point where all kinds of like them words I was saying and going off, and Louisiana in me would have came out, because you don't tell nobody to shut up. I don't care who you are. You are my elder, so I'm not gonna handle you in a bad way. Now, had this been somebody else telling your daughter to shut up, we already know how your daughter would have handled them, because we see how she do elderly people. But some people have a little more class, but surely I don't know if they cut it out, but surely I hope and pray to God that Mel at least said something. No, I'm not saying Mel should have been disrespectful. I'm not telling Mel what to do. But we can't just skip over this woman telling this grown woman to shut up. Like, wait, what? And then wasn't she a former school teacher? Like, you shouldn't even be telling your students to shut up. It's be quiet or something. Shut up is so disrespectful to me. And I mean, to me, it's like I couldn't even hear no more. After anything that came after this was kind of a blur, because I'm still waiting for somebody to address the fact that this woman just told this grown woman to shut up. Hey, what? Okay. And Kiki then spoke up and said, because I guess Kiki said, okay, y'all going over all that. But anywho, that happened way a long time ago. But let me address her over here. She said, she spoke up to Tiffany and she said that I'm tired of the lies that you going around here telling. And Tiffany said she pretty much was like, everybody, she said that she pretty much doesn't entertain people, and she told Tisha that she felt like she didn't want to be around you because she don't do mess. And if she felt that if you could do Letitia like that and that's your cousin, that she didn't need to come around because you would do the same for her in a nutshell. And she said she don't even know Kiki. And Kiki basically bust out and she said, so you keep telling people you don't know me, but you know of me. She said my son played on your husband's team. You met pretty much everyone in my immediate family, including my in-laws. She said not to mention I even went on this crusade to help you find your father, when you were looking, for who your dad was. And Kim, Tiffany sitting there like she just was a deer in headlights. I guess she didn't know how to come back from that one, because again, if someone helped you do this, now maybe you being your husband being the coach for her son, and yeah, y'all may have seen each other and may have, hey, this is such and such wife or however, at a baseball game, okay. But when you've came and shared at least some type of intimate details in reference to finding your father, she even said that she called you and told you she had certain resources where your father was known to have lived. Y'all have had some type of conversation for this to come up like this. So yeah, you might not still just not know her, but you keep saying it's like you don't know her at all, but yet she's making it known that you know of me. You know very well of who I am. And to me, I found that kind of, funny as well. So then Kimmy butt in, and I don't know why Kimmy always butt in, look like at the wrong time. But then to Kiki, she got really, really upset because now it seemed like everybody screaming and coming at Kiki like it's like she being ganged up on. Because again, Kimmy, this had nothing to do with you at all. So I don't understand where she popped in the conversation. So Carol stepped in because Mel had already said either Carol gonna step in or I'm gonna have to end this, because this is again not how this was supposed to go. So Carol steps in and pretty much she said, okay, y'all relax. Just everybody relax. So then, Kiki had made that comment in reference to she's always known who her dad was. So they all kind of, let her know that was wrong. And she said she didn't mean it that way. And she apologized if it came out that way. So she did apologize. They moved forward from that. And pretty much, they kind of like woo sign calming down. Melody, then goes on to tell them, I have gifts for everyone. And she said, yeah, Stormy, and they ain't Gucci purses, letting her know you got to buy all them Gucci purses, because guess what? Thank y'all for coming, but it ain't that type of thank you. Cause anywho, half of y'all don't even fool with y'all. But anyways, but y'all, that was it that I had for this review. I was gonna do it at the end of the recap and review of this video, but instead I think I'll make it another video. So be looking out for that in the next couple of hours. I definitely want to take the time to thank each and every one of you. Please, 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 all mothers out there, enjoy the remainder of your Mother's Day. See y'all later. Until next time, please don't forget to hit the like button on your way out. And I love each and every one of you. Thank you for all the love, the support, and y'all have a good evening.